Dr. Zixatheta stepped out of the transport ship and into the human military base on Kepler 442b. His 6 arms moved nervously as he adjusted his medical equipment. The Altherian doctor had treated patients from 50 different species across the galaxy. He had won awards that most doctors could only dream about. But this was his first time working with humans. The air felt heavy and wrong. The gravity was stronger than he liked. Everything about this planet seemed designed to kill visitors. Yet the humans walked around like it was nothing special. Dr. Zixatheta, a woman, approached him. She wore military medical scrubs that had seen better days. Dark stains covered parts of the fabric. Her black hair was tied back in a messy bun. "I'm Dr. Sarah Chen. I'll be showing you around." Zixatheta extended one of his delicate arms for the greeting ritual he had studied. Dr. Chen grabbed it and shook hard. Too hard. His crystalline skin tingled with pain, but he said nothing. "Welcome to Forward Operating Base Hammer," she said. "Sorry about the mess. We had a busy night." The medical facility was not what Zixatheta expected. The Galactic Coalition medical centers he knew were pristine white spaces with the latest technology. This place looked like organized chaos. Equipment was stacked everywhere. Some machines were held together with tape. Actual tape, is that adhesive polymer holding that scanner together? Zixatheta asked. "Yeah, duct tape. Works great. We've been waiting 3 months for replacement parts." Dr. Chen shrugged. "Make do with what you have, right?" A soldier walked past them in the hallway. Zixatheta's medical scanner immediately started beeping warnings. The human had a fractured rib, elevated stress hormones, and signs of severe dehydration. The soldier was drinking something from a metal can and laughing with another human. "That patient needs immediate treatment," Zixatheta said. "His readings show multiple medical issues." Dr. Chen glanced at the soldier. "Who, Roberts?" "Nah, he's fine. That's from last week's patrol. He's walking and talking, so he's good. But my scanner shows, Doc, if we treated every soldier who had something wrong with them, we'd never leave the medical bay." She led him deeper into the facility. "You'll learn that humans are tougher than your scanners think." They entered the main treatment area. Zixatheta stopped in shock. 3 humans were working on patients while covered in blood. They moved fast, almost carelessly, but with strange precision. One medic was stitching a wound while eating a sandwich with his free hand. "Is he consuming food while performing surgery?" Zixatheta's voice rose higher, a sign of stress in his species. "Oh, that's Phillips. He hasn't had a break in 10 hours. Gotta eat when you can." Dr. Chen checked a tablet. "We have about 30 minutes before the next patrol comes back. Want some coffee?" "Coffee? Stimulant drink. Mild poison to most species, but it keeps us going." Zixatheta watched her pour black liquid from a stained pot into a cracked mug. The smell made his sensory organs curl. She drank it without flinching. A loud alarm suddenly filled the base. Dr. Chen's relaxed expression changed instantly. "Patrol's back early. Must have hit trouble." She moved toward the door. "You might want to stay back for this first one. Things can get intense," but Zixatheta followed. His job was to observe and learn. How bad could it be? The doors burst open. Soldiers carried in wounded teammates. Blood covered their uniforms. Some of the injured were conscious and talking despite injuries that should have rendered them unconscious from pain. "Got 3 criticals, 5 walking wounded," a sergeant reported. Johnson took shrapnel to the chest. Martinez has burns on his arms. Thompson's got a head wound. Dr. Chen was already moving. Johnson on table 1. Martinez can wait. Thompson, let me see. Yeah, that's not too bad. Stitch him up and watch for concussion symptoms. Zixatheta's scanner was screaming alerts. Every one of these humans should be in critical care. The one called Martinez had 3rd-degree burns covering 30% of his arms. He was sitting on a bench, joking with another soldier. "The burn victim needs immediate pain relief and tissue regeneration," Zixatheta said. "We'll get to him." Dr. Chen was elbow-deep in Johnson's chest cavity. "He's not dying, so he waits. But the pain levels must be—" "Hey, Doc!" Martinez called out to Zixatheta. "I'm good. Had worse in basic training. This is nothing." Basic training was worse than this? Zixatheta's understanding of human military preparation suddenly shifted. What kind of training involved injuries worse than 3rd-degree burns? He watched Dr. Chen work. Her hands moved impossibly fast, cutting, suturing, clamping. She wasn't following any coalition medical procedures he knew. Everything was faster, rougher, more direct. "Clamp that bleeder," she told a medic. No, not there. There, good. Now hold it while I... Yes, perfect. Johnson's eyes opened. He had a tube down his throat and his chest was still open, but he was trying to talk. Don't try to speak, you idiot, Dr. Chen told him. You're fine. You'll be back annoying everyone in a week. Johnson gave a thumbs up with a hand that should not be moving. His body had lost too much blood for him to be conscious. Zix Theta checked his scanner 3 times. The readings made no sense. How is he conscious? He's lost 40% of his blood volume. Humans are stubborn, Dr. Chen said. We don't die easy. Pass me that suture. Zix Theta handed her the tool with one of his arms while using the others to scan more patients. Every reading defied coalition medical standards. Humans operated far beyond what should be possible. After 3 hours of constant surgery, the crisis was over. All the wounded survived. Even Johnson, who by every measure Zix Theta knew should have died twice. Dr. Chen finally sat down. She had been standing for the entire time, performing complex procedures without rest. Her hands, which had been rock steady during surgery, now shook slightly as she drank more coffee. Good work today, she told her team. Everyone lived. That's a win. This is normal? Zix Theta asked. This level of injury and survival? This was actually pretty mild, one of the medics said. Remember last month when Davis came in with half his leg missing? He asked if we could just tape it back on. The humans laughed. Zix Theta did not understand the humor in such trauma. Dr. Chen must have noticed his distress. Look, I know our methods seem primitive, but they work. Humans are hard to kill. We evolved on a planet that tried to murder us every day. Predators, diseases, natural disasters. We adapted to survive things that would kill most species instantly. Your medical practices violate 17 coalition standards I've counted so far. And yet everyone lived. She stood up. Come on, let me show you the recovery ward. You're going to love this. The recovery ward was even more confusing. Patients with serious injuries were playing card games. One soldier with a recently amputated foot was doing pull-ups on a bar attached to his bed. Another was arm wrestling despite having a punctured lung 12 hours ago. They should be sedated for optimal healing, Zix Theta said. Humans heal better when active. Laying still makes us weak. Dr. Chen checked on the arm wrestling patient. Johnson, don't pop those stitches or I'll let the alien doc work on you next time. No offense. Doc 6 arms, Johnson said to Zix Theta, but you look like you'd faint if you saw real blood. I have seen blood from many species. Human blood is different, Johnson said. It's got attitude. The soldiers laughed again. Zix Theta was beginning to understand that humor was somehow part of their healing process. Nothing in his medical training had prepared him for this. As the day ended, Zix Theta reviewed his notes. Every observation contradicted established medical science. Humans survived injuries that should be fatal. They remained conscious through trauma that would shut down any other species. They treated warfare casualties like minor inconveniences. How do you explain this to the coalition? He asked Dr. Chen. We don't. They wouldn't believe us anyway. She poured another cup of coffee. Want to know the real secret? Zix Theta leaned forward with all 6 arms extended in attention. We're too stupid to know when we're supposed to die, she said. So we just don't. That night, Zix Theta sent his first report to the coalition. He struggled to find words that would explain what he had seen. How could he describe a species that used primitive tape to fix advanced equipment? That performed surgery while eating? That joked about injuries that would traumatize any civilized species? He couldn't, so he simply wrote, First day of observation complete. Humans are medically impossible. Will require further study. He had no idea how much more impossible things would become. The morning alarm at Forward Operating Base Hammer was a sound Zix Theta would never get used to. It was loud, harsh, and seemed designed to cause pain. The humans jumped out of their beds like it was normal. Some were even smiling. Morning, Doc 6 arms, Private Martinez said as he passed Zix Theta in the hallway. His arms were still wrapped in bandages from the burns he had suffered 3 days ago. He was carrying weights in both hands. You should not be exercising with those injuries, Zix Theta said. His scanner showed the tissue was still damaged, still healing. Gotta keep the muscles working, Doc, otherwise they get weak. Martinez flexed an arm and winced. Pain just means it's working. Pain meant damage in every species Zix Theta knew. But humans seemed to seek it out. They called it training or getting stronger. It made no medical sense. In the medical bay, Dr. Chen was already working. She had been there when Zix Theta left 8 hours ago. She was still wearing the same clothes. Did you not rest? Zix Theta asked. Caught a few hours in the on-call room? She yawned. We have a patrol briefing in 20 minutes. You should come. Good chance to see how we prepare for injuries before they happen. The briefing room was crowded with soldiers. They sat casually, some with feet up on chairs, others cleaning weapons while listening. The lieutenant leading the briefing pointed at a map. Same route as yesterday. Intel says the hostiles might have placed mines near checkpoint 3. Keep your eyes open. Mines again? One soldier groaned. Johnson still owes me 50 credits from the last mine he found with his foot. The room laughed. Johnson, who had nearly died from chest wounds 4 days ago, stood up and bowed. I'm a mine detection specialist. I detect them after they explode. That is not funny, Zix Theta whispered to Dr. Chen. Explosion injuries are serious trauma. Humor helps them cope, she whispered back. If they can laugh about it, they can survive it. After the briefing, Zix Theta watched the patrol gear up. Each soldier carried enough weight to crush most coalition species. Armor, weapons, ammunition, water, medical supplies. One soldier had a metal rod sticking out of his backpack. What is that metal pole for? Zix Theta asked. That's for Thompson, the soldier said. He likes to hit things when he gets angry. Better than hitting teammates. Mental health management through violence against objects. Zix Theta added this to his growing list of human contradictions. An hour later, the base shook. Explosion. Then another. The alarm sounded different this time. More urgent. Patrol's in trouble, Dr. Chen said. She was already moving. All medical staff to positions. We're about to get busy. The next 20 minutes were the longest Zix Theta had experienced. They could hear gunfire in the distance. Radio chatter was constant. Then the vehicles arrived. The doors of the armored transport opened and Zix Theta nearly dropped his medical supplies. These injuries were beyond anything from the previous days. Sergeant Thompson stumbled out. Blood covered half his face from a head wound. His eyes were unfocused, pupils different sizes, clear signs of traumatic brain injury. He was giving orders to his squad. Martinez, get Johnson inside. Rodriguez, cover the exit. Where's my rifle? I need my rifle. Sarge, you're in the medical bay, Dr. Chen said. She guided him to a bed. Let me look at that head. Head's fine. Just bleeding a little. Check Martinez first. He took the worst of it. Zix Theta turned to see Martinez. The same soldier who had been exercising with burns was now missing a significant portion of skin from his left shoulder. Shrapnel had torn through muscle. White bone was visible. He was conscious and apologizing. Sorry about the mess, Doc. Tried to dodge but wasn't fast enough. Stop talking, Dr. Chen ordered. Zix Theta, I need you on this one. Use all 6 arms. We need to work fast. For the first time, Zix Theta worked directly on a human patient in trauma. His 6 arms allowed him to perform multiple procedures simultaneously. But Martinez kept trying to sit up. Need to check on Jenkins, Martinez said. He was right behind me when... Jenkins is fine. Lie still, can't feel my arm. That's bad, right? That's the nerve blocker I gave you, Zix Theta said. But his scanner showed Martinez had refused the nerve blocker. The human literally could not feel his arm because the nerves were damaged. Yet he was talking like it was minor. Jenkins was not fine. The young private had lost his left arm just below the elbow. Not a clean cut. The explosion had torn it away. He was sitting on another bed looking at the stump with curiosity. Hey, Doc, any chance you can sew it back on? I'm left-handed. One of the medics brought over a container. Found his arm. Still has the watch on it. Watch is still working too, Jenkins noted. These things are tough. He was discussing his severed arm like it was broken equipment. No panic, no screaming. Just mild annoyance at the inconvenience. We cannot reattach it, Zix Theta said. The tissue damage is too severe. Yeah, figured. Guess I'll learn to use my right hand. Jenkins looked at his remaining hand. Always wanted to try that anyway. Dr. Chen was working on Thompson's head wound. The sergeant kept trying to stand up. I need to report to command, he said. Mission isn't over. You have a severe concussion. You cannot stand without falling. Then I'll crawl. He actually tried to get on the floor. 2 medics held him down. Sedate him, Dr. Chen ordered. No drugs, Thompson slurred. Need to stay alert. She sedated him anyway. It took twice the normal dose to work. His body fought the medication like it was an enemy. The chaos continued for 2 hours. More wounded arrived. Soldiers with injuries that would send any coalition species into shock walked in under their own power. One had a piece of metal the size of Zixatheta's hand embedded in his thigh. He asked if they could pull it out real quick so he could go back. "You cannot return to combat with that injury," Zixtheta said. "Watch me." The soldier reached for the metal. "Don't you dare pull that out," Dr. Chen shouted from across the room. "You'll bleed out, you moron. I've had worse. No, you haven't. Remember that training exercise in Australia? With the spider?" Dr. Chen paused. "Okay, that was worse. But don't pull out the metal, Australia." Zixatheta had heard of this place on Earth. Every species in the coalition knew to avoid it. The humans used it for training. As he worked, Zixtheta noticed patterns. Humans had redundant systems their bodies used when injured. When one part failed, another took over. When blood loss should kill them, their hearts pumped harder. When pain should incapacitate them, they produced chemicals that blocked it, Dr. Chen. He said during a brief moment of calm. "I need to understand something. Private Jenkins just lost an arm. Why is he not in psychological shock? Shock comes later. Right now his body is flooded with adrenaline and endorphins, natural combat drugs. He'll crash eventually, but for now he's riding the high. Natural combat drugs. Every human produces them. Adrenaline for strength and speed. Endorphins for pain management. Testosterone for aggression. It's like we have a combat pharmacy in our bodies." Zixtheta took blood samples from several patients. His portable analyzer could not identify half the chemicals present. The ones it could identify were at levels that would kill most species. This one chemical, he showed Dr. Chen the results, would cause cardiac arrest in my species at 1/10 this concentration. That's adrenaline, and he's not even at peak levels. You should see what happens when someone gets really angry. As if on cue, Rodriguez burst through the doors. He was dragging 2 wounded soldiers, one under each arm. His uniform was shredded. Blood covered his chest. Not all of it was his. Ambush at checkpoint 5. These 2 need help. Then he collapsed. Dr. Chen and Zixatheta rushed to him. The scanner showed massive internal bleeding, 3 bullet wounds in his torso. He had been running and fighting with these injuries for at least 15 minutes. How was he moving? Zixatheta asked as they worked to save him. Adrenaline, determination, stupidity, the human cocktail for survival. Dr. Chen's hands moved inside Rodriguez's chest cavity. His body shut down the moment he got his teammates to safety. Mission complete, so now he can die. But he will not die? Not if I can help it. And he's too stubborn to die anyway. Aren't you, Rodriguez? Rodriguez, who should be unconscious, gave a weak thumbs up. By evening, every wounded soldier was stable. Even Rodriguez, who had technically died twice on the table before his heart decided to start working again. Zixatheta sat in the break room trying to process the day. His medical training from the finest coalition academies had not prepared him for humans who refused to die when they should. Who joked about traumatic amputation. Who used their planet's deadliest continent for training exercises. Dr. Chen sat down beside him. She had finally changed clothes and looked almost rested after a 20-minute nap. "You did good today," she said. "Using all 6 arms really helped. We saved everyone. Everyone should have died, multiple times, but they didn't. That's human medicine. We don't prevent death. We just refuse to accept it." She handed him a cup of coffee. He had started drinking it, despite it being poison to his species. Somehow that seemed appropriate now. "Tomorrow will be worse," she said casually. "Intelligence says a big attack is coming. How can it be worse?" "Oh, you haven't seen anything yet. Wait until someone gets really hurt." Zixatheta looked at the human doctor. She had just spent 12 hours saving soldiers who should have died. She considered this a normal day, and worse was coming. Zixatheta had been studying human blood samples for 3 days straight. His research lab, a converted storage room that Dr. Chen had cleared for him, was filled with data pads and analysis equipment. The more he learned, the less sense it made. "Dr. Chen," he called out as she passed his lab. "I need you to see this." She entered carrying her ever-present coffee mug. "Find something interesting." Interesting is not the word I would use. Terrifying might be better. He displayed the molecular analysis on the screen. "This is adrenaline extracted from Private Rodriguez's blood during yesterday's combat." "Okay." I synthesized it, made an exact copy. Then I tested it on laboratory specimens from various coalition species. Dr. Chen leaned forward. "And?" "They all died, instantly. A Thraxian mouse lasted 3 seconds. A Kelleran rat managed 5. Even the Bruthan war beetle, known for its resilience, died in under 10 seconds. From the same amount in Rodriguez? From 1/20th of the amount. Rodriguez had enough adrenaline in his system to kill 20 war beetles. And he was running, fighting, and dragging wounded soldiers. Dr. Chen sipped her coffee. Yeah, that sounds about right. Humans are basically biological weapons that learn to practice medicine. The base alarm interrupted them, not the standard attack alarm. This was different, continuous, urgent. Big one, Dr. Chen said. She was already moving. All hands to medical. This is going to be bad. The next hour proved her right. The enemy had launched their largest assault yet. Rockets, mortars, and direct fire had hit 3 patrols simultaneously. The wounded came in waves. Corporal Davies was first. 7 bullet wounds across his chest and abdomen. He was conscious, holding pressure on the worst bleeding with one hand, while giving a situation report with the other. 30-plus hostiles at grid reference 274. They have rocket launchers. Tell artillery to... He coughed blood. Tell them to aim 50 meters north of the smoke. Stop talking, Dr. Chen ordered. Save your energy. Can't. Need to report. Davies continued giving tactical information while Dr. Chen and Zix Theta worked to stop the bleeding. His body was shutting down organ by organ, but his brain refused to stop working. More wounded arrived. The medical bay overflowed. They set up treatment areas and hallways. Zix Theta used all 6 arms simultaneously, working on multiple patients at once. It still was not enough. Doc, 6 arms, someone shouted. Need you here. It was Thompson, the sergeant with the head injury from before. He was back on duty despite Zix Theta's protests. Now he had a metal rod through his shoulder, pinning him to a wooden beam he had been carrying. Pull it out, Thompson said. I need to get back out there. You will bleed to death if we remove it incorrectly. Then remove it correctly and fast. My squad needs me. While Zix Theta worked on Thompson, he heard commotion at the entrance. 6 soldiers carried in Specialist Williams. Or what was left of her, an explosion had taken both legs below the knees. She was awake, giving orders. Set up a perimeter. They'll follow up with another attack. Johnson, you're in charge until I'm back. You lost your legs, Johnson said, I noticed. But my arms work fine. Give me a rifle and prop me up somewhere. I can still shoot. We are not giving you a rifle, Dr. Chen said. You're going into surgery, after the attack. Can't spare you now. Williams actually tried to sit up. Just stop the bleeding and give me something for the pain. I'll be fine. The absurdity of the statement broke through even Zix Theta's growing acceptance of human impossibility. A soldier with no legs claiming she would be fine was too much, but Dr. Chen just nodded. Morphine and tourniquets. We'll do proper surgery when this is over. Make it half dose on the morphine. Need to stay sharp. During a brief lull, Zix Theta analyzed more blood samples. Every human showed the same pattern. Massive spikes in adrenaline, endorphins, testosterone, and other chemicals he could not identify. One compound looked similar to the combat drugs the coalition military used. But at 50 times the concentration, this is impossible, he muttered. Phillips, the medic who ate while doing surgery, overheard him. What's impossible now? Your blood contains a chemical that costs 10,000 credits per dose in the coalition military. Super soldiers use it for critical missions. You are producing it naturally. Cool. What does it do? Increases reaction time by 300%. Blocks pain receptors. Enhances strength. Also causes death in 99% of users. Guess humans are the 1%. Phillips went back to stitching a wound. The attack continued for 6 hours. Zix Theta lost count of the wounded, 50, maybe 60. Everyone had injuries that should be fatal. Almost everyone survived. Davies, with 7 bullet wounds, stayed conscious through the entire surgery. He asked about the artillery strikes. When told they had been successful, he smiled and finally passed out. Thompson pulled the metal rod out of his own shoulder when no one was looking. He wrapped it in gauze and returned to combat. Dr. Chen found out when he came back with additional injuries. You moron, she said. You could have died. But I didn't. And we held the line. Williams, with no legs, had convinced someone to put her in a wheelchair with a rifle. She had defended the medical bay entrance when enemies got too close. She had 17 confirmed kills while bleeding from traumatic amputation sites. I told you I could still shoot, she said when Dr. Chen found her. Legs are optional for marksmanship. The worst case was Private Kumar, a young soldier barely 18 Earth years. He had thrown himself on a grenade to save his squad. The explosion had torn open his entire back. Zixatheta could see his spine, his organs, everything that should be inside now partially outside. "Will I walk again?" Kumar asked. He was conscious. "He should not be conscious. We will do our best," Zixatheta said. He did not lie to patients, but he also knew hope helped humans survive. "Cool. Tell my mom I'm okay." Dr. Chen and Zixatheta worked on Kumar for 3 hours. They rebuilt what they could, replaced what they could not, used techniques that would horrify coalition medical boards but somehow worked on humans. "His spine is severed," Zixatheta said quietly. "Even if he survives, paralysis is certain. Maybe, maybe not." Dr. Chen kept working. "I've seen humans recover from worse. Worse than this. Last year, a Marine survived being cut in half. Literally in half. Held his own guts in while crawling to safety. He runs marathons now. By morning, the attack was over. The base had held. Of the 63 wounded Zixatheta had treated, 61 survived. The 2 who died had refused treatment to let others go first. They had bled out while insisting they were fine. Zixatheta found himself in the recovery ward checking on patients. Kumar was awake, wiggling his toes. Impossible, his spine had been severed 12 hours ago. "Nerves are funny things," Dr. Chen explained. "Sometimes they find new paths. Sometimes they repair themselves. Sometimes humans are just too stubborn to be paralyzed." Davies was arguing with a nurse about getting up. 7 bullet wounds yesterday and he wanted to do push-ups. Williams was designing modifications for her wheelchair to hold more ammunition. Thompson was arm wrestling Jenkins, the one-armed private who was winning. "How do you explain this?" Zixatheta asked. "How do humans survive what kills everyone else?" Dr. Chen thought about it. "Evolution, I guess. Earth tried to kill us with everything. Predators, diseases, weather, gravity, radiation. We had to become unkillable just to survive childhood. Then we decided to spread across the galaxy. The Coalition classifies Earth as a death world. Uninhabitable for civilized species, yeah, and we call it home." Says everything, doesn't it? That afternoon, Zixatheta made a discovery. He had been comparing human adrenaline to known combat drugs when he found something unusual. The molecular structure was similar to a theoretical super-soldier serum the Coalition had tried to develop. They had abandoned it because no species could survive it. Humans produced it naturally. Every time they faced danger, he ran more tests. During combat, humans became something else. Their reaction time matched combat robots. Their strength increased by factors that should tear muscle from bone. Their pain tolerance exceeded anything in nature. "You are biological weapons," he told Dr. Chen. "Your bodies are designed for war. Not designed for it, just really good at it." She checked on Kumar, who was now moving both legs. "We prefer peace. But when war comes, we survive it." Zixatheta watched Williams racing Thompson in their wheelchairs down the hallway. Both had injuries that would have killed any Coalition species. They were laughing. "I need to report this to the Coalition," he said. "What will you tell them?" "The truth. That humans have evolved beyond the need for combat drugs because they produce their own. That their bodies can survive damage that would destroy military equipment. That they treat fatal injuries as inconveniences." "Think they'll believe you?" "No. I have evidence and I still do not believe it." That night, Kumar stood up. His spine had been severed 24 hours ago. He should have been paralyzed for life. He took 3 steps before falling. The humans cheered like he had won a war. "Tomorrow I'll take 4 steps," Kumar said. He took 10. Zixatheta sent his 3rd report to the Coalition. It included molecular analysis, video evidence, and detailed documentation. The conclusion was simple. Humans are not truly a species. They are biological weapons platforms that have achieved sentience. The explosion shook the entire base at 300 hours. Zixatheta had been sleeping in the medical bay, a habit he had developed over the past 2 weeks. He was on his feet instantly, all 6 arms reaching for medical supplies. That was inside the perimeter, Dr. Chen said. She had been reading patient charts, never seeming to sleep more than 2 hours at a time. They got through. The doors burst open. Not with wounded, but with enemy soldiers. 3 of them armed and firing. Zixatheta froze. His species had no combat reflexes. He was going to die. Dr. Chen moved like something else entirely. She grabbed a scalpel from the surgical tray and threw it. It embedded in the first attacker's throat. She rolled behind a medical cart, came up with a bone saw, and charged the second attacker. The third one aimed at Zixatheta. Time slowed. He could see the weapon firing. Could see his death coming. Williams rolled her wheelchair between them. The bullets hit her instead. She had grabbed an IV pole and was using it like a spear, driving it through the attacker's chest. She was laughing. "Nobody shoots our doc," she yelled. The attack was over in seconds. 3 enemies dead. Dr. Chen was checking Williams for new wounds while Williams complained about the damage to her wheelchair. "You saved me," Six Theta said. His voice shook. All 6 arms trembled. "Course we did," Williams said. "You're one of us now, one of them." The words meant something different now. More explosions outside. The enemy had launched a full assault on the base. The medical facility was being targeted specifically. "They know wounded soldiers come here," Dr. Chen said. "They're trying to finish them off." "That violates all rules of war," Six Theta said. "Yeah, well, they didn't get the memo." She handed him a weapon. "You know how to use this? My species does not engage in violence. Today you might have to. Just point and squeeze. Try not to shoot our people." The next hour was chaos. Enemy forces had broken through in 3 places. The medical bay became a battlefield. Wounded soldiers defended their own hospital beds. Jenkins, the one-armed private, held a corridor by himself with a rifle modified for single-hand use. Zixa Theta found himself working differently, not just treating wounded but doing it under fire. When enemies entered, the humans formed a protective circle around him while he worked. They took bullets meant for him. They died to keep him alive. Why? He asked Thompson, who had taken shrapnel to his already injured shoulder while shielding Zix Theta. "You're our doc. We protect the doc." Thompson grinned through the pain. "Plus, you're terrible with that weapon. Better you stick to medicine." It was true. Zix Theta had tried to fire the weapon once. He had missed everything and nearly shot Phillips. But something was changing in him. The fear was fading. The human's insane calm under fire was infectious. When Rodriguez dragged in Lieutenant Morrison with half his chest blown open, Zix Theta did not hesitate. He worked while bullets flew overhead. He did not flinch when an explosion shook the room. "He just worked. Good job, Doc," Dr. Chen said. She was performing surgery while occasionally firing at enemies. Her hands never shook. "You're thinking like us now. Thinking like them." Was that possible? Could a civilized species learn to think like these Deathworlders? The Coalition manual said to establish a sterile field for surgery. The humans did surgery in a war zone. The manual said to evacuate wounded to safety. The humans turned wounded into defenders. The manual said medical personnel were non-combatants. Dr. Chen had a body count of 6. Meatball surgery, Phillips called it. Quick, dirty, keeps them alive. Pretty comes later. Zix Theta found himself adopting their methods. When Private Anderson came in with intestines hanging out, he did not follow the 43-step coalition procedure. He stuffed them back in, sewed fast and rough, and moved to the next patient. Anderson would live. That was all that mattered now. The enemy pushed harder. They had recognized the medical bay as a strong point and concentrated their attack. Zix Theta counted 30 wounded defenders against an unknown number of attackers. "We need to evacuate," someone suggested. "Where?" Dr. Chen asked. "This is the most defendable position. We stay, we fight, we survive." Kumar, who had been paralyzed 4 days ago, was standing with a rifle. His legs shook, but he stood. Williams had attached knives to her wheelchair spokes and was using it as a weapon. Davies, with 7 healing bullet wounds, manned a machine gun. Then Zixa Theta saw something that changed his understanding of humans forever. Captain Rodriguez took a direct hit from a rocket. The explosion threw him across the room. Half his torso was gone. Not injured, gone. He should have died instantly. He crawled back to his position and kept firing. "Captain, you need immediate," Zix Theta started. Later. "Doc, busy now." Rodriguez continued shooting. His remaining lung was visible. His heart was exposed. He kept fighting. For 6 minutes, Rodriguez held his position with half a torso. He only stopped when the last enemy fell. Then he looked at Zixa Theta. "Now would be good, Doc." Zixa Theta worked with all 6 arms. Everything he had learned from the humans. Every impossible technique, every violation of coalition medicine. He rebuilt Rodriguez out of spare parts and determination. 2 hours of surgery that should have been futile. Rodriguez lived. When the attack finally ended, Zixa Theta stood in a medical bay that looked like a slaughterhouse. Blood everywhere. Bodies stacked in corners. Equipment destroyed. But the wounded had held. The medical staff had held. "Doc, you're bleeding," Thompson pointed out. Zix Theta looked down. Purple blood dripped from a wound in his third arm. He had been shot and had not noticed. The humans had infected him with their impossible strength. "It is just a flesh wound," he heard himself say. The humans laughed. Even dying, they laughed. "Now you're one of us for real," Dr. Chen said. She stitched his arm without anesthetic. He did not flinch. "You fought, you bled. You saved lives under fire. That's human medicine. I violated every principle of coalition medical ethics, and everyone lived. That's the only principle that matters." Zix Theta looked around the destroyed medical bay. Williams was teaching Kumar to fight from a wheelchair. Jenkins was showing other amputees his one-handed rifle technique. Davies was organizing the walking wounded into defense teams. "Your people do not just survive injuries," Zix Theta said. "They become stronger from them." "Scar tissue is tougher than regular tissue," Dr. Chen said. "Same with people. Break us and we come back harder. That is not medically possible. Nothing we do is possible, but we do it anyway." The base commander visited that afternoon. Colonel Hayes had lost an eye in the attack but refused treatment until everyone else was seen. "Outstanding work," she told the medical staff. 37 wounded held off 200 attackers. Medical had the highest kill count of any position. "Medical is not supposed to have a kill count," Zix Theta said. "Welcome to human warfare, Doctor. Everyone fights. Everyone survives. Or dies trying." She looked at the destroyed equipment. "What do you need?" "Everything," Dr. Chen said. "But we'll make do with whatever you can spare." "Always do. I'll see what I can scrounge. Oh, and Dr. Zix Theta, Coalition Command wants you evacuated. Says it's too dangerous for their observer." Zix Theta looked at his purple blood mixed with human red on the floor, at Williams in her weaponized wheelchair, at Rodriguez, who should be dead but was doing push-ups, at Dr. Chen, who had saved lives while killing enemies. "Tell them no," he said. "I am needed here. You sure? It's going to get worse before it gets better. These humans saved my life, multiple times. I will not abandon them," the colonel smiled. "Once you fight alongside humans, you're family. Welcome to the family, Doc Six Arms." That night, Zix Theta did not send a report to the coalition. Instead, he worked on something Dr. Chen called field medicine improvements, taking human techniques and adapting them for his 6 arms. He could save more lives with their methods than with 100 coalition manuals. "You've gone native," Dr. Chen said. She said it with approval. "I have gone practical. Your medicine works. It should not, but it does. Want to know a secret?" She leaned close. "Human medicine is 90% refusing to let people die and 10% actual medicine. What is the other percentage?" "Duct tape and coffee." They laughed together. Zix Theta understood now why humans laughed at death. It was not dismissal. It was defiance. Williams rolled up in her wheelchair. She had added more weapons to it. "Hey, Doc, Kumar bet me his chocolate ration that you can't do surgery with all 6 arms at once on different patients. That would require 6 patients at once." "Yeah, next attack is in about an hour. Good chance to try. How do you know another attack is coming? Because we're still alive. They'll keep coming until we're not. And if they succeed," Williams shrugged, "then we'll be too dead to care. But until then, we fight." Zix Theta looked at these impossible humans. They had turned him into something his species had never been: a warrior medic, a doctor who could fight, a civilized being who had learned to survive like a death worlder. "Get me more coffee," he said. "If we are going to do 6 surgeries at once, I need to be fully awake." The humans cheered. Their alien doctor had become one of them. Not human in body, but human in spirit, where survival mattered more than rules, where laughter was medicine, where death was just another enemy to defeat. The attack came exactly when Williams predicted. Zix Theta did surgery on 6 patients simultaneously. The final assault came at dawn. Zix Theta knew it was the final one because the enemy threw everything at them. The ground shook with explosions, the air filled with smoke and fire, and the wounded came in numbers that broke even human limits. 100+ hostiles, the radio crackled. All positions being overrun. "Medical bay, prepare for the transmission cutoff." Dr. Chen looked at Zix Theta. They both knew what that meant. "This is it," she said. "The big one. If we survive this, we win. If we don't, we will survive," Zix Theta said. The confidence in his voice surprised him. 2 months ago, he would have been calculating survival percentages. Now he just knew. Humans did not die when they were supposed to. And neither would he. The first wave brought 20 wounded. The second brought 30. By the third wave, they stopped counting. Every bed was full. The floors were covered with injured. They ran out of bandages and used uniforms. Ran out of morphine and told soldiers to bite something. Captain Rodriguez coordinated defense while missing half his recently repaired torso. The rocket attack from yesterday had taken more than flesh. It had taken something from his spirit, but not his will to fight. Jenkins, take 5 men to the east wall. Thompson, you've got the north. Williams, can that wheelchair of yours fit through the ventilation shaft? I'll make it fit, Williams said. She had duct-tape knives to her arm stumps. Six Theta did not ask why. Doc Six Arms, I need you to do something impossible, Rodriguez said. Everything here is impossible. This is more impossible. We have wounded scattered in 3 buildings. Can't bring them here. Too much fire. You need to go to them. I will be killed immediately. I have no combat training. You'll have an escort. Kumar, Davies, you're with the doc. Kumar, who had been paralyzed a week ago, stood with a rifle. Davies, held together with stitches and determination, nodded. These were his protectors. Walking wounded, defending a doctor who had learned to think like them. I will need supplies, Zix Theta said. Take what you can carry. Phillips, load him up. Phillips attached medical bags to all 6 of Zix's Theta's arms. He looked ridiculous. He did not care. The journey to the first building took 20 minutes. It should have taken 2. They crawled through rubble, hid from snipers, ran through explosions. Zixatheta's scanner screamed warnings about toxic air, dangerous radiation, lethal temperatures. He turned it off. The building held 15 wounded. Most were unconscious. The conscious ones were still fighting, shooting from windows while bleeding from multiple wounds. About time, Doc, one said. Can you patch this? He pointed to a hole in his chest. Zixatheta worked faster than he ever had. 6 arms moving independently. No anesthetic. No sterile field, no time. Just enough to keep them alive. Keep them fighting. Can I get back to shooting now? The soldier asked when Zix Theta finished. You have a hole in your lung. Yeah, but just one. The other works fine. Human logic. Zixatheta had stopped trying to understand it. He just accepted it. The second building was worse. 30 wounded, 5 medics trying to help with no supplies. Zixatheta became a teacher, showing them the human way. Quick and dirty. Survival over procedure. But the manual says, one coalition medic started. Forget the manual, Zix Theta said. Watch the humans, copy them. Everyone lives. The third building was not a building anymore. It was rubble with humans inside. Some were trapped under concrete. Others were using the debris as cover while fighting. All were injured. Lieutenant Morrison was the worst. The same officer Rodriguez had saved yesterday. Now he had phosphorus burns on 60% of his body. The chemical was still burning, eating through flesh. Hey, Doc, Morrison whispered. This is bad, right? Yes, Zix Theta said. He did not lie anymore. Humans preferred truth. Can you fix it? I can try. Good enough. Zix Theta used techniques no coalition doctor knew. Techniques Dr. Chen had shown him. Techniques that worked on humans because humans were impossible. He scraped burning phosphorus from living flesh while Morrison stayed conscious, giving tactical reports. Enemy armor approaching from the west. Tell artillery grid 779. Tell them danger close. We're inside minimum safe distance. You need to stop talking, Zixatheta said. Can't, I'm forward observer. Only one who knows enemy positions. Morrison continued reporting while Zixatheta rebuilt him. When the surgery was done, Morrison asked for a radio. He called in artillery strikes on his own position. Danger close means we might die, Kumar explained to Zix Theta. Morrison thinks it's worth the risk. The shells landed 50 meters away. The building shook, dust fell. Some wounded were re-wounded. But the enemy attack stopped. When they returned to the medical bay, it was unrecognizable. The walls had holes. The roof was gone. Dr. Chen was performing surgery under the open sky while bullets flew overhead. She had blood from 3 species on her hands. Welcome back, she said. Grab a patient. The final push came at sunset. The enemy had broken through everywhere. The medical bay was the last strong point. Wounded soldiers who could not stand were propped up with rifles. Those who could not see were told where to shoot. Williams had somehow gotten her wheelchair onto the roof. She was sniping enemies while having no legs and being technically dead from blood loss. Jenkins had organized the amputees into what he called Stumpy Squad. They held the main entrance. Zix Theta found himself in the center of it all. 6 arms working on multiple patients while explosions shook the ground. He did not think anymore. He just worked. His hands moved with the same impossible speed he had seen in Dr. Chen. Then Rodriguez took the wound that should have ended everything. A sniper shot through his exposed heart, the one organ they had not been able to fully repair. "No," Dr. Chen said. She abandoned her patient and ran to Rodriguez. "Not him. Not now." Zix Theta joined her. Together they worked. 2 doctors, 12 hands total, fighting death itself. Rodriguez's heart had stopped. His blood was pooling. His body was failing. "Humans do not die when they are supposed to," Zix Theta said. He reached directly into Rodriguez's chest, holding the heart in 2 hands while using others to suture. "And neither will you." "That's not how hearts work," Dr. Chen said. "Nothing here works how it should." For 10 minutes, Zix Theta manually pumped Rodriguez's heart while Dr. Chen repaired it. It was impossible. It was insane. It worked. Rodriguez opened his eyes. "Did we win?" "Still fighting," Dr. Chen said. "Then why are you wasting time on me? Others need help." Even dying, humans thought of others first. Zix Theta had learned this was their greatest strength. Not their impossible biology. Their impossible loyalty. The battle turned when reinforcements arrived. Not fresh soldiers. The walking wounded from other bases. Soldiers who had heard their brothers were dying and had come to help. Some still had IV drips attached. One arrived on crutches with a machine gun. "Nobody kills our docs," one shouted. It had become a battle cry. The enemy broke. Faced with humans who would not die, who got stronger when wounded, who treated lethal injuries as motivation, they ran. The battle was over. In the destroyed medical bay, Zix Theta counted the cost. 307 wounded treated. 298 survived. The 9 who died had refused treatment to save others. "We did it," Dr. Chen said. She collapsed into a chair that was mostly duct tape and hope. "We actually did it." "Told you we would," William said. She had lost so much blood her skin was white. She was still smiling. Zix Theta looked at his 6 arms. All were covered in blood. Human red, his purple, and others he did not recognize. He had become something beyond his species. Beyond coalition medicine. He had become human in all but biology. Colonel Hayes visited the next morning. She now had bandages over both eyes but moved like she could see. "Outstanding work. All of you. The enemy is in full retreat. This base held because medical held." "Medical should not have to hold," Zix Theta said. "Shouldn't have to, but did. That's human warfare." She turned to where she thought Zix Theta was. She was off by 40 degrees. "The coalition wants you back. Says your observation period is over." Zix Theta looked around. Kumar was teaching other paralyzed soldiers to walk through determination. Williams had started a wheelchair combat school. Jenkins was designing better prosthetics using spare parts. Dr. Chen was already working on the next wounded, even though the battle was over. "I am not going back," Zix Theta said. "The coalition insists. Tell them I have gone native. Tell them I am contaminated by human thinking. Tell them anything. But I am staying. You know more battles will come. Yes. And my family will need me." Family. He had used the human word. Not colleagues. Not allies, family. Dr. Chen smiled. "You heard him, Colonel. Doc Six Arms is one of us now. Then he needs a proper call sign. Not just Doc Six Arms," the Colonel thought. "How about Stitches? For all the impossible surgeries." "Stitches," the humans repeated. It was official. He was no longer Dr. Zix Theta of the Coalition. He was Stitches, combat medic of the human army. That night, Zix Theta sent his final report to the Coalition. It was long and detailed. It included everything he had learned. But the summary was simple. Humans are medically impossible. They survive injuries that would kill any other species. They produce natural combat drugs that would be lethal to anyone else. They get stronger when wounded. They laugh at death. They turn their medical facilities into fortresses and their doctors into warriors.